Welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the officially confirmed release date for Season 11, as well as some other details that the developers recently released in their latest update. Now, I also want to go ahead and let y'all know that the truck that I am using in this video is a PC-only paid access mod, and all of the information about it will be in the description box down below, as well as the gameplay you're watching on screen is from Season 11. However, it was recorded on the public test server, so certain things may be subject to change in the release build. So without any further ado, let's get into all the info. First up, with the release date, that is set for the 19th of October, which as I record this, it is the 5th. So give it a couple of weeks and then this will be available on your system, no matter what system you play SnowRunner on. Now, what does Season 11 include? Well, Season 11, in a nutshell, includes 2 new maps set in the new Scandinavia region, 2 new trucks, the Neo Falcon 2000 and the Burlak 6x6, as well as additional free content, which I'm sure will be in the realm of things like paint jobs and a couple of other little fixes and updates here and there. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into the community post on the forums. They said of the free update, which features new trailers, new cranes, new flatbeds, and a set of 10 new stickers, will also be available no matter whether you buy the DLC or not. Those are going to be all of the free add-ons. So again, the free add-ons, you don't have to buy anything, includes new trailers, new cranes, new flatbeds, and 10 new stickers, which is honestly not bad. Now, there's a lot of different things that you're going to be doing in Season 11, but a lot of it revolves around the concept of building and operating a film set, which is an interesting premise, and it does add some elements to the game that we haven't seen before in terms of new props. However, I'm not quite sure how much it adds overall, and I know a lot of people are probably going to feel like it's a tad gimmicky maybe, but honestly, to me, it feels a lot more like a continuation of some of the other regions in the game rather than a sort of quote-unquote gimmick, right? I mean, the movie theme, I could take it or leave it, but I honestly felt like the firefighting mechanic felt a lot more gimmicky because they claimed it was firefighting, but really all you were doing was delivering water tanks everywhere. So, I mean, if they had incorporated some kind of actual firefighting mechanic into the game where you would actually pull up and then control a fire hose, that would be so different, and that would have been like a really interesting thing to see. But they didn't really do that, and it just ended up being, it pretty much turned into water delivery simulator. So if you felt similarly about the prior season, you may actually enjoy this one, because while the movie set theme is new and some of the objects and items that you'll see in the game are new, the core gameplay is very similar to gameplay that fans of this series will enjoy and have enjoyed for a long time. Now, this is a 2-map region, and the first map has a garage, the second map does not. And I kind of feel like gameplay-wise, in terms of especially someone who has played literally every SnowRunner DLC that they have ever released, I would kind of ballpark this as if you liked Yukon but didn't necessarily like how tight the roads were, you'll probably enjoy this, because this combines sort of a lot of the gameplay elements that were enjoyable in the Yukon with gameplay elements that were enjoyable in, say, for example, the Michigan region, or some of the other, ironically, some of the other American regions, because even though this is based in Scandinavia, it actually feels and plays like a lot of the American regions do. So I think if you enjoyed those, regardless of where this region is supposed to take place, I think you'll really enjoy what it has to offer. And there are some new and interesting ways that they structure the maps, but overall, I would say general structure remains familiar and remains approachable. Now, the second map not having a garage may be a little bit frustrating to some players, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think it just adds a little bit of extra strategy that you need to keep in mind and need to actually focus on when you build your truck fleet. This region in general, I find to be very focused on having a diverse lineup of trucks. And, if you've got like maybe 1 or 2 good scouts, you'll be fine. Say 1 or 2 good scouts and then maybe 2 or 3, maybe more heavy trucks. The reason I say 2 or 3 or maybe more heavy trucks is because the level of cargo at which you're hauling ramps up pretty quick as you go through some of the contracts. So as you're going through these contracts, the demands on what you're going to need to do, they increase pretty quick. And the amount of cargo that you'll be asked to haul also increases pretty dang quick. And so keeping that in mind, I would definitely recommend approaching this from the standpoint of, okay, we're going to get it scouted out, and then we're going to go ahead and grab all of the heavy duty vehicles that we need right out of the gate, because even if you're doing a smaller job, having those heavy duty vehicles around, I find to be really beneficial in a region like this. Now, moving on to a bit of a state of the game, as it were, I would say SnowRunner is in a very interesting place right now because it's definitely had its ups and downs. It's had a lot of ups and downs on console and on Xbox in particular. We have talked here on the channel at length about the frankly egregious Xbox issues, and in particular multiplayer, because one of the biggest selling points of this game and of this series, but especially SnowRunner, is frankly the ability to play the game with your friends, because at its core it is very cooperative. And when you can't do that, you lose a lot of player interest and you lose a lot of player base, and then they end up moving on to other games, or they end up being like, well, I'm just not going to bother picking that up again because it's been so long since it's been fixed that I don't know whether the devs are going to fix it or not. And you see a lot of people in the community get extremely frustrated, and justifiably so. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that those things are not going to get fixed, but what it does mean is, you're going to end up with a lot of unhappy community members the longer certain things go unfixed. However, one positive change that I've noticed a lot recently is the developers seem to have very quietly yet very noticeably improved the amount of time, or rather, well, I say improved to mean reduced the amount of time that it takes a mod to make its way to consoles, especially next-gen consoles. For example, as I record this, the brand new Ford F550 mod by John Hot Rod was actually released only a couple of days ago, and after adding the console files, it took like a day for it to make it to consoles, including next gen, which historically has taken up to multiple weeks, if not multiple months, for a mod to make its way to consoles before, especially, once again, next gen consoles, where we know there is a large player base for SnowRunner and a large player base that enjoys using mods, especially in a way that allows them to take advantage of the extra processing power that the next gen consoles have. So while it is a quiet change, it's definitely something that doesn't go unnoticed. And as someone that's been a part of this game's community for a very long time, that is an extremely, extremely welcome change. Very, very welcome. And now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know in the comment section down below how your experience of SnowRunner has been lately, whether you've been playing since the very beginning or somewhere in the middle of the game's life cycle, or only just started playing recently, or, maybe some combination of all of those or somewhere in between. Regardless, let me know how your experience has been with the game, especially as of recently. And also, are you planning on getting your hands on the Season 11 DLC? Is it like, oh, I'm interested in that, or no, I'm not interested in that at all? So let me know, regardless of how you feel about Season 11, let me know how you're feeling leading into this next DLC in the comment section down below, because again, SnowRunner has been around for a long time now, and I remember when we weren't really sure where the game was going to go after the end of year 2. There were a lot of people that didn't think this game was going to have a year 3. There were a lot of people that thought that the next Runner game was just going to end up being announced, and then instead they ended up announcing year 3 of SnowRunner, and then following it up with the announcement, not the release yet, but the announcement of Expeditions being a spin-off of the Runner series. So that still leaves room for another Runners game, or a mainline Runner game, to be announced at a later date. Hopefully, fingers crossed anyway, it will be a beast of a game. Hopefully they'll be able to take all of the elements that people love about SnowRunner and also combine them with the elements people love about MudRunner and make something incredible. But again, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching.